Hello there, everyone. This is the Cory Bender Show on BWC Internet Radio. I'm here today to work on the playoff headlines, pretty much for the Western Conference. Just the big headlines. I'm going to talk about the Lakers and what they're going through right now, and I'm also going to go through the East too. My bad. With the Knicks and Celtics series, and I might end in the Grizzlies and Spurs if I have time. But if Ryan's splitting up some of that too. Um, Today I just want to focus mainly first on the Lakers, and I just don't want anybody to freak out about the Lakers. I did say, I believe, in my thing that they were going to sweep the Hornets, or I might have said maybe taking one game, and that's what the Hornets did. They took a game in Los Angeles, though, and the main reason they won this game was Chris Paul was a beast, as usual. He had a monster game, I believe, 39 points. That might have been Derrick Rose, but he had like 14 assists and a lot of points, and he was on fire. He was hitting every shot, getting his teammates involved. Aaron Gray was beating a guy I'd never heard of, was beating like Pau Gasol and all these big men of Los Angeles, and that's the main reason why the Los Angeles lost is the big men weren't stepping up like they usually do. They let Aaron Gray, a nobody center, beat them for I don't know how many points, and they let Chris Paul just dominate them. And they really don't have anybody that could probably defend Chris Paul because Derek Fisher, their point guard, is old as dirt. You could maybe put Kobe on him, but I don't even know who the small forward would be for the Hornets, but probably have to keep him on him. And really, the Lakers lost this game because Pau Gasol did a terrible job. He got like 6 or 8 points. He's playing like he didn't want to even try in this series, and he just didn't look like he wanted to try at all. And he just looked old, and he looked like he was lazy on defense, wouldn't get open. Kobe actually called him out after the game, which has happened before. Saying he played a terrible game. He didn't get open for the ball enough. He wasn't trying hard, and Pau said to himself, I've done that before. I really need to get out of that habit. And you think he'd been out of that habit after winning 2 NBA rings. I mean, you know, maybe he's just becoming lazy, going, okay, maybe I have my 2 rings now. Maybe that's good enough. And I kind of said that during the season too. But this is the playoffs, and if you don't want to be the best at what your job is, then you're probably crazy. Because if you want to be the NBA champion, you got to try your best, and that's not what he's doing. I'm not gonna say he's a terrible player because he's a good player, but he shows like a lack of effort in some of these games, and they can't do that through these stretches in the playoffs. Andrew Bynum can't take everybody by himself, or Lamar Odom, and Andrew Bynum especially because he has so many injuries, and you never know on a week-to-week basis. I'm afraid he's gonna get hurt because he's has so many injury problems, and on the other hand, Aaron Gray is out probably for the next game. But as long as the Hornets have Chris Paul, in my mind, and he can do his thing and be able to distribute to his teammates, they're going to be just fine. They can probably take another game or two against the Lakers. I think this thing will be wrapped up in about 6 or 7 games. Don't be too surprised if it goes to 7. And okay, my computer's back on. Audacity was freaking out a bit. Sorry about that, guys. Um, anyway, I want to transition to the next series. Actually, you know what? I want to talk about some of the keys for the next game. The Lakers, their keys are. I heard that when Kobe shoots the ball 25 or more times or something like that, they're like 9-9. That's from Michael Smith, a reporter for ESPN. And when he shoots about under 25 or like somewhere in the 15 range, they're 14-0. Believe this year, which is very good. And I'm not a huge stats guy, but I found that very intriguing. So maybe Kobe shouldn't shoot the ball as much anymore. But I think that's a little crazy because Kobe's amazing. I think he just gotta distribute the ball more to your big men and let them do their thing. Gasol's gotta be not lazy, and they just gotta limit Chris Paul to his options because he's the traditional point guard. Well, he'll take the jump shots. He'll find his ways to get open. I mean, this is a point guard's job, but he's very traditional. And they just gotta limit his opportunities and not let him get to the line either. I'm gonna transition to the other series I'm gonna break down here, and that would be the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. A great game one. I did not get to watch this game. The only game I actually got to watch was the Chicago Bulls and the Pacers, and because I was so busy over the weekend, I was gonna catch Miami, and I only catched a few minutes. But I'm watching both of those games tonight, hopefully. Um, Anyway, this Knicks Boston game apparently was a great game throughout. Amari Stoudemire had a huge game. Carmelo did terrible, which not too surprised about. He's still getting used to things, and pretty much I saw a questionable call at the end of this. A screen by Garnett on Tony Douglas, so that Ray Allen got a pretty good-looking three, and it looked like it could have been a moving screen, but if you would slow it down enough, you could probably see Garnett's feet are probably set, and he probably didn't even do that much. So it's probably fine. I'm not a huge Garnett fan, but I'm not gonna go psycho on the guy. And plus, I love Ray Allen. I don't mind when he gets a winning shot. I'm not a big Boston fan either, but I love Ray Allen. And I think it was a little questionable call, sure. And same thing with this offensive foul call on Carmelo Anthony. I did not see that play, but all I've heard is about Carmelo. I can't remember what he did, but he got an offensive foul late in the end of the game. Apparently, it was really questionable. Maybe should not have been called. Whether or not, he still pulled up a really bad shot at the end of the game. They're only down by 2 points with maybe somewhere under a minute left, and he pulled up a long three with like two or maybe one or two guys on him, and he didn't really need to do that. And Amari was having a great game, so he could have just fed Amari in the post or something, because Carmelo was having a terrible game. He kept on trying to take control of the game, and he was able to do that before in Denver. But let Amari, if your teammates are having a good game, give them the ball. I mean, I'll have Carmelo shoot it. I mean, he's a great player. Okay, maybe not the greatest player, but he's a great scorer. I'll give it to him at the end of the game. But in that sense, I don't want him to make stupid decisions like taking a very, very long three. When you have when you have an Amari Stoudemire who is having a great game and probably matches up better against these Boston big men who have dwindled a bit with the absence of Kendrick Perkins. I think with Boston, their main thing is that they should be a little worried, not too worried, but a little bit, because if this young Knicks team is able to take them late into the fourth quarter on their home court in Boston, they should be a little afraid, because Carmelo had a terrible game, and I mean terrible game. One of their best players had a terrible game, but yet they only lost by a few points. And I think that's something much to be afraid of, because these big men, when Kendrick Perkins was there, people were afraid to go even in the lane at all, whether he was in there or not. Or now with these big men there in Boston, it's Big Baby Davis who's good, Kevin Garnett who is good. Then you have the injury-prone Jermaine O'Neal and Shaquille O'Neal, and you never know if they're going to be able to play or not. And I don't even know any of the other Boston big men. I think Nene Kristic, but he's not even that good. So I think the big men situation might be a little bit of worriness, but really on the other end, it's pretty much just Amari Stoudemire and some can't think Ronnie Turioff, who's okay. But really, I think it's all going to come up to matchups to me. It's all going to come up for the Knicks if Amari can keep up his pace, and if Carmelo can start getting back into the swing of things also, and get these teammates involved too. Because you can't have Amari Stoudemire putting up all these points without Carmelo putting up stuff too. And they also have to start playing defense, which the Knicks, this year's Knicks, have not done. And Boston does play defense, but surprisingly enough, it looks like New York did pretty good, because they only lost by a few points. But the Knicks, what they got to do, get Carmelo back into shape of things, make him try. He has to get back into his shooting rhythm, and just play better defense. That's all you got to do. And I think they'll be able to take Game 2 tomorrow. I really think they can, because, Boston, you never know, because I think Amari can have another great game against these big men, and if Carmelo can shoot the ball, and they play just a bit more defense, don't let Ray Allen shoot the ball a lot, and don't let Rondo do his thing, they'll be good. Because I don't think KG's that great of a player anymore. He can't score very much, and he knows he can, and he doesn't play great defense as he used to. So I think you had to take care of that situation too. You had to take care of that. And then quickly, I want to note this whole Spurs and Grizzlies thing. That was an interesting game in my mind. Without Manu Ginobili, I think the Grizzlies, it's a great accomplishment for them. Their first playoff win in history of their franchise. Zach Randolph got a huge game. Brian actually told me, I think the main reason they won this game was a contrast in styles, where these young, Memphis Grizzlies, they play up-tempo style. They, they play just a great I don't really know how to explain it. It was like they just play at a fast pace. They just know how to win, And, well, okay, I'm sorry, they don't know how to win all the time, but they just play a good fast pace. While the Spurs, they are a finesse shooting team, what Ryan said, and most finesse shooting teams don't win an NBA championship. You need the big men, and the Memphis big men out-bullied them in this game. That's a quick note on that. And I'm going to be watching all these playoff games tonight, and hopefully most of them tomorrow. And Ryan will be coming up with some of the other things. Looking forward to it. And I'll be back here probably tomorrow if I want to do a little update about these things, just depending on my situations of homework and whatnot. Otherwise, just enjoy the NBA playoffs, guys. It's a great first week or so of it. And that's me and my show. Thanks for listening, guys. This is BWC Internet Radio, and this is my show.